'cause it's finally here. Finally, yeah. Oh, 'cause it's finally here. Finally, yeah. Ooh.
Everyone, it is Stephanie Liu, and welcome to a new episode of Showrunner Secrets from the Set. We are in the middle of our 6-episode series teaching you secrets from the set so that way you can have a successful live video broadcast. We are picking up from where we left off last week, where we talked a little bit about storyboards and how to differentiate yourself from the sea of sameness when it comes to live video production. Today we're talking about structures and storyboards. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's recap of what we've already talked about in the previous episode. So if you're just tuning in for the very first time, you're like, where am I? You know, like I just landed in Jumanji. Boop. Where am I? What we originally talked about in the first few episodes was February 3rd, we talked about the evolution of live streaming, the rise of the live video producer, which is why this is where you want to be. Client onboarding was the very last episode. Today is going to be structure and storyboards. Then it's going to be planning and production. So more things. This is where we're going to really dive into tech rehearsals. How do you actually prep your clients for tech rehearsals? This is also really great if you're doing live virtual events and you want to give your clients onboarding gifts. I think someone had actually posted this in the Ecamm live community group of like, what do you give your clients? I'll give you a couple of ideas of what's been working for us. Worksheets, templates, things of that sort. It's pretty much just streamline the whole process for you so your clients will be like, you know what? I want to work with that person again. And then on April 7th, which is, I feel like this is the question everyone is always asking. That question is, well, how do I price my services? So first, let's talk about you getting started. This is something that we had actually shared last week. I said, download this now, get this in your hands now, so that way you can download it and we can review it together right now for today's show. This is going to be your storyboard template that you could go ahead and download. If I remember correctly, he made it really simple. It was like ecamm.tv/storyboard. So let's add that in right now. So get your hands on this right now. It's going to be very very helpful as we walk through this. It's also going to be an opportunity for you to add in sections of your own. Remember, you want to separate yourself from the sea of sameness. What we're giving you are building blocks that you can build upon and really showcase to your clients what you're capable of doing. This is going to be really good. Let's talk about storyboarding your show. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. This is why storyboarding your show is going to be very helpful, because some of your clients don't know what they don't know, meaning they probably haven't seen an actual live event produced via Ecamm. I would say probably 6 out of 10 people that reached out to me last year, if they had never seen Lights Camera Live, Showrunner, or even Digital Confetti, they didn't know how a live streaming show or a live streaming event would look like online. What they knew when it came to live stream was like, oh, you're just gonna hold your phone. And I was like, hold up, there is so much that we can do. And so last time that you and I hung out together, we had talked about in your client discovery call, sit down with your client and really think about what the look and feel is going to be like. What's the ambiance? How are you going to carry the energy of the show from beginning to end? And so one way that you can do this is create a storyboard. And I find that this is usually very helpful, especially if your client is a visual communicator, because in their mind, they want to know how it's going to look like. And so when you map it out with like what the overlays are, the countdown timers, how the event is being transitioned from one person to the next is going to be absolutely helpful. All right, so the first thing that I generally have when I'm working with clients is I'll have a countdown timer. And the reason for this is because I find that if I just say like, okay, I'm just going to be in your ear and I'm going to say 3, 2, 1 and we're live, they're just like deer in headlights. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, hey, is this thing on? Like, are you on? And so having a countdown timer is very helpful if you have talent, MC, host, whoever it is, and they're not used to like live streaming. And so when you have a countdown timer, it gets them pumped up for it. What I also like to do with these countdown timers is pair some music with it. If you've ever seen Go Live Now with Laura Petrucci, like she's dancing like 10 minutes, she's going like it's a thing, it's everything, it's happening. It's like the energy. And so when you think of the countdown timer, there are different ways that you could showcase the countdown timer. I really like the way that Lemuel does his lem drops. It has like this like following like square thing that goes around. You'll have to Google him in the group or find him in the group. He does a fantastic job. But what I've done for clients is we would take like the actual Zoom meeting and then we would put like a gray overlay on top of it and then the countdown timer. And then it's kind of cool because they're like, oh, hey, like it's us. And it makes it really fun. In fact, my daughter and I, for Valentine's Day, we tuned into a virtual magic show. And that magician did some really fantastic things with Ecamm Live. I'm telling you, we've got some very, very talented Ecamm Live users. And he did the same thing too. He did the Zoom meeting with the countdown timer on top, played some music, made it a ton of fun. And so it's a nice way to get people started. And you could go ahead and hang out there. Next, let's talk about the solo shot. Solo shots are very helpful because notice how in this graphic, I'm saying, hey, on the upper left-hand corner, there's going to be a live button or a countdown timer or whatever platform you're going to use. Let them know what the UI is going to look like because sometimes they'll want to put like something over here. Like if I said like, hey, download the template over here and it's like all the way up here and it's being blocked, it's not helpful from a user experience. So the more that you know about your platform, the easier and the better that it's going to be. Am I right or am I right? I'm always right. Give them that. Give them also an idea of what your overlays are going to look like. Is it, oh, who was it? I think her name was Anna, but she was live in the Ecamm Live group and she had featured a video of Katie chasing chickens. Chasing chickens. And not only did I find that hilarious, but I found her overlays like so sick because it looked like it was a CNN broadcast. And I was like, this is so cool. Again, this is your opportunity for you to showcase to your clients how amazing and talented you are. If you already know their brand colors, by all means, like freaking go for it. And notice, like, I don't know if you actually picked up on this, but that silhouette is me. If I just like, that's me. So if you wanted to be clever with it, I usually like to do like some unconscious psychological hacks whenever I'm pitching a client. So let's say I just grabbed a photo of Doc and then I would just do silhouette and I would plop him in there of how it would actually look like. I think it's a ton of fun. So solo shot gives them an idea. And then this is usually the part where they're like, wait a second, what's this other storyboard? And I'm like, look what else we can do. We could do this setup. And this makes it really exciting for them to realize, oh, wow, you can really customize this. You can really customize this to be the look and feel that I want it to be, right? So you could have the talking head in the box and then you could have a slide deck if you wanted to, and then the title at the bottom. So in this particular case, I actually just made this scene, this scene in particular on the fly. I was like, hey, Caleb, can you send me the PDF for the storyboard? And then I saw it and I was like, it wasn't even like a 16:9, so I had to figure out how to make it. And I was obviously able to do it in Ecamm Live. As the way that I've pitched this to clients is I would say, you know, when you're starting off the actual event, if you want to give a shout out to your sponsors, maybe you want to have like, boop, shout out to the sponsors. This scene right here, I feel like it's very, very helpful to, again, just kind of show your clients what is possible. Scene 3 is solo and a PDF, solo and maybe even sponsor graphics. That's totally cool. Rotating, whatever which way that you want it to be. Do whatever it is that you have to do. That's always going to be fun. Get them excited for it. Then we're going to talk about the next scene. Scene 4 is the host plus the guest. Again, they've probably never seen this before. You know, they're like, oh, wait a second. I could actually have a guest hop on the show with me. How do you do that? If you want to go ahead and walk them through the logistics of it, you absolutely can. Otherwise, just say like, yeah, we could totally bring on a guest. Again, when you're pitching, maybe you're pitching like the event planner and the key decision maker, silhouettes, boom, drop them in there. Have fun with it. I absolutely love the fact that the camera overlays in Ecamm, I could position people in different areas. Doc does some really good things where he'll have them, I think I saw him like in an Apple Watch. It was an Apple Watch with Doc's face in it. Get really creative with it. They've never seen this before. Again, this is going to be your opportunity for this. Remember, you do have the option to include up to 4 people on the Ecamm interview option, right? So that's going to be really good. If that's what they want to do, then let them know that it is possible. That's something that you could absolutely do within Ecamm and it makes it a ton of fun. Then scene 5, this could be, let's see, your MC or your host. Again, whatever events that you're actually doing, they could do like a PDF if they wanted to. Just recently, I helped out a friend do her wedding. And one of the things that we actually did is the mother of the bride got on there and we did like a PDF slideshow of just, it's just like of how my girlfriend like grew up over the years. And it was really cool. Sentimental music in the background. Of course, we had some embarrassing photos as well, which made it all the more memorable. These are things that you can absolutely do. All right, so scene 5, that's another one that you can do. Then let's talk about a panel discussion. This is a great one. Again, show them what it is that you can do. This right here is so basic. I'm just like camera, 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 camera. If you wanted to have it like more templates, you absolutely can. Like I said before, one of the other Ecamm live content creators, they've done, sitting inside of an actual iPhone. Make it fun. Make it fun. Hey, you know what? I would even do like a stream deck. You turn it into a game show. One of my good friends, Owen Video, which I'll tell you about in just a little bit, he is a huge fan of game shows like Family Feud and anything to like make it really fun. Imagine like the Family Feud and like where people are going to vote and you could have like someone like different faces there. One of the best things ever. In fact, Paul Dixon is saying that camera overlays are one of the best features of Ecamm. Absolutely agree. If you guys aren't playing around with it, I feel like it gives you the most flexibility with whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. George is saying, can the backgrounds be animated? Yes, George, they absolutely can. In fact, let me show you what Elicio did for me. Elicio did that. I was like, I don't even know how he did that, but he did that. He did that. Thank you. Thank you, Elicio. So you could actually take these movie files and import them in as an animated overlay. And I think it makes it so slick because whatever you can do to make a show or an event stand out from the newsfeed, by all means, absolutely, definitely go ahead and do that. Great question. Kevin Lyons, always a pleasure to have you here, is saying, don't just tell, give your prospective client their own personal show, demonstrating you inside the storyboard and layouts, bring them in interview mode. Yes. Listen to this man right here. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So again, build upon this if you haven't already downloaded the storyboard. There it is right there. Next, let's talk about other scenes that are possible. So that's actually the last one. Let's go ahead and talk about Owen. Owen was actually a guest, one of our guest speakers for Leap into Live Streaming. For those of you that were a part of Leap into Live Streaming, this is where I met most of you. This is where I met Doc, Lemuel, like the whole crew. Like we met at the Leap into Live Streaming Bootcamp. It was a free virtual bootcamp that we did teaching about live streaming. And so my good friend Owen Video, he hopped on to share his live video structure, how to be entertaining, educational, and inspirational. And yes, that replay is available on the Ecamm YouTube playlist, Leap into Live Streaming. So you can watch the whole entire thing there. Do note that I also have this as a blog recap on lightscameralive.com. This is another like one of those little hacks, but do you notice that underneath the actual video, it says add to calendar? Remember how I always told you that if I want people to show up for a show, I actually tell them to add it to their calendar. All right, so let's talk about this run of show system. In his actual presentation, Owen is going to tell you about the importance of having a hook because you want to hook your viewers in. If you're having a live virtual event, you want to get people like excited about it. This isn't another Zoom meeting, right? How are you going to make it exciting? Again, you could have the countdown timer as your hook. Someone like the voice of God, like, stay until the very end because we're going to be giving away Stream Deck XL. What? Right? That's going to be exciting. Have your hook. That's where you're going to go ahead and capture their attention right then and there. I'm going to give you a template for this, okay? So there's the hook. You're going to have a hook. Most clients, they're generally going to come to you like, I've never heard of a run of show before. You're like, oh, well, here's some elements of a run of show that you might want to have in there. You also want to have the introduction. Tell them like what the show is about. I usually teach the why, what, how, and what if formula. Tell them what the event is about, why is it important, how it's going to impact their business or their lives, and if they can't tune in, right? If they can't tune in, what's the next thing that they have to do? So it's the why, the what, the how, and what if. So going back over to the run of show, your introductions. I just told you what I generally use, the why, what, how, and what if. Introductions for your events. Your clients may have something that they've always done for their annual galas, dinner, or award ceremony, whatever it is, same thing. Go ahead and put that in there. Usually, and this is something that Owen does a lot, he says that after your introduction, you want to tease your content. So you could always say like, but first, let me tell you about blah, 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 blah. So for For example, I could say something like, hey everyone, welcome to Showrunner Secrets from the Set, where we teach you how to have a successful remote live video production. But first, I want to give a shout out to Elgato, right? Keeps them in there because it's like, why are you mentioning Elgato? Because my office is completely packed and I need to get this stuff off of my hands. This is an opportunity for you. So tease, 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 tease. Then you want to go into your audience, right? Give a shout out to your audience, even for your live virtual events, even for the live streams that you're producing remotely. Tell them like, okay, in the show, we are going to give a shout out to your audience attendees, because if you don't, what's the point in showing up? Right? Like, I love it when I hop on the show and Luria's like, what's up, Stephanie? I'm like, what's up, girl? Hey, girl, hey. That's like everything to me. That's like happy brain chemicals, the dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all the things, right? I'm getting the endorphins from just getting hyped up and being a part of the show. So build it into the run of show where they have an opportunity to give a shout out to the audience. Because listen, if you're watching right now and I never, if I like never recognized anyone, if I didn't say like what's up to Anselm Paul or Raphael or Felicia, they're just like, is this even real? Is this even live? You know, this is an opportunity for you to build that relationship. And again, when you're having these events, right? When you're having these events, sometimes your clients don't even know like, oh, you could actually bring in comments and show them on the screen. Again, another way for you to build it into your run of show. Again, this is high level overview stuff. We'll get into the nitty gritty as we always do. Just gonna ease you in. All right, so audience, give a shout out to your audience, especially Alicia Way. See, I'm telling you, someone had just asked about the animated overlays. This is Ask Alicia. So audience, and then guest. Right, give a shout out to your guest. Make sure that they actually know the guest bio. This is one of like the most embarrassing things that I've ever had a client do, where they're so focused on how they look, how they sound, that they didn't even practice for like their main honoree, practicing their actual bio. That's not cool. That's not cool. Make sure that you're building into the run of shows so that way they have an idea to know how to pronounce someone's name, especially if you plan on repurposing that content. Oh, speaking of which, yay! Thank you. I do try to do my best. All right, James Riley, thank you so much for hopping in with us. Alicio, you're amazing. All right, so now you're gonna do the guest. You're gonna show them some love, however which way they want to show up. I've actually even told speakers, like, do you want to present slides, or, you know, when you tell a story, how do you tell your story? Because sometimes speakers have this idea that, oh gosh, you know, I used to do this on stage, but I can't do it via live streaming. That's your opportunity to be like, hey, you know, what about when you're telling this story, I could show some B-roll in the background, some photos, a montage, whatever it is, to just kind of like keep people engaged. And they're like, oh, you can do that? You know, some people will even ask as the guest speaker, it's like, well, if I show my slides, am I still going to be on screen? It's like, yes, let me show you how I can do that for you, right? That's where they're like, oh, I want to work with you. Rocky is saying, true, I've been streaming for more than 5 years and she always gives a shout out to her peeps. Rocky is absolutely amazing. PS, by the way, if you're not following her, definitely go ahead and check her out. She's the real deal right there. All right, and then sponsor. If they have any sponsors, that's going to be a good opportunity. Remember when we were talking about the structure and the storyboards? Show them like different ways that they could give a shout out to a sponsor. I think it's so cool that when you give a shout out to a sponsor, you could do more than just like, oh, and logo, right? You could be like, hey, let me show like a 15-second clip of you during the actual run of show. Let me show a testimonial, whatever it is that you could do. Remember, you can play pre-recorded videos. You could do animated overlays. There's so much that you could do. Heck, even if you have a jingle, play a jingle. Play a jingle. Oh my goodness. James Hicks says that he has his hands on the video script maker, which, PS, by the way, I'm going to give you a preview of it and how it works, right? This is the build up to it. Yay. All right. So let me go back over here. So then you have your sponsor, and then you have your bullet points, like what the actual agenda is going to be. You remember when I was in the other scene and I had the sidebar overlay to show you what's on the calendar? Same thing. When you're running your events, you could say like, okay, and first up, we're going to have this speaker, boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to have a break. Everybody come back, or you're going to have breakout rooms, whatever it is that you're going to do. Make it memorable. You can have your bullet points even for that. I keep banging you. My bad. I keep I keep talking with my hands. And then my favorite part that Owen talks about is the tension. And the tension is before your last like value bomb, before your very, very last value bomb. It's like, if anything, this is what you learned today, right? Boom, boom, boom. You're leading up to like that. It's like that crescendo. It's like the most amazing, like, aha, that value bomb, right? And then you're going to do a segment climax again. This whole entire replay. Caleb, Katie, correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably like a 30, 45 minute presentation, and he goes like right into it. So it's absolutely amazing. Okay. All right. So that's that. The thing is that for me personally, because I'm running multiple shows, I have Lights, Camera, Live, Showrunner, Digital Confetti. There's like so much to do that sometimes when I'm creating the copy for it, it's like, man, I've like squeezed out all of the brain juice. And so if I could just have a template that helps me think through what it is exactly that I need to do, what it is that I need to say, then it's going to flow flawlessly. Then it's going to make it much more memorable. Pam Elliott is asking, is it good and useful to use Ecamm just within a Zoom meeting, private event? I'm going to be hosting trainings on Zoom meetings and thought I could use Ecamm to... Yeah, absolutely. My God. Pam, you need to watch the very, very first episode, because I gave away a couple of ideas of how you could use Ecamm Live in Zoom meetings, even for like shareholder meetings, company town halls, all the things to make it really fun and exciting. Bring in your sound effects, bring in your overlays. A fun tip is that whenever I'm about to pitch a client and they're like, oh, and hey everyone, I want to introduce you to Stephanie Liu, I'll like, boom, turn on the camera, and then I'll just be like, hey everyone. Hi, nice to meet you. Because again, if I could get them to smile and laugh as soon as they meet me for the very first time, then I know that I'm going to like anchor that emotion and they're already excited to learn more about me because I've already piqued their curiosity, right, Pam? Because at that point, they're like, how the heck did she do that? Any which way that you can do that, right? Any which way that you can build that into your private event in Zoom, I think that's absolutely going to be fun. Friends, this is my favorite tool / template. Okay, and it's called the Video Script Maker. James Hicks already has his hands on it. Doc was one of the first beta testers for it as well, but it's for those of you that are always like, man, how do I open my show? Because you don't want to be that person that always says like, hey, welcome to another episode, and I'm super excited about it, and you're like, you every week you're excited, right? It's like, tell me something different. But like, this week, I'm going to rant about whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you need ideas on what to say, then that's what the Video Script Maker is for. Patrick says, Ecamm Live and all the tools available make Zoom calls go from blah to wow. Yes, from boring to badass. What? You heard that.
How you like that?
This is something that I built on my own. And then when I realized like how helpful it was, I beta tested it with a couple of my friends, but this is pretty much the gist of it. Oh, there's already somebody here. Somebody already has it and they're already looking at the template. So I'll put things in here like what time does the show start? Or for you remote live video producers, and what time does the event start? What's the show intro? Hi everyone. Welcome to Showrunner, Secrets from the Set. What is the show about? I find that when I usually put things in questions like, what is this about? It's easier for people to just spit out the answer. You don't have to worry about copywriting right now. Just give me the answers. I'm just like trying to pull it out of clients, right? So this is like another tool that you can use with your clients. Just pull it out of them basically at this point. What's your name? If you're going to have a guest on the show. So in this recent example of, gosh, man, I had Molly Mahoney on the show and she had this beautiful bio. Great. Thank you very much. Dropped it in there. Then bullet points. What are the 3 things that we're going to talk about? Remember, this is what Owen was talking about, leap into live. Cool. So then you have your bullet points and then closing. So your closing is really going to be, what's your CTA? Is it to subscribe to your show, subscribe to your channel, add it to your calendar? If you're doing this for remote live video production, then it's going to be sign up for a newsletter or whatever it is that you're going to be. For one of my clients, we had this really great event. And then towards the end, we're like, hey, if you want to be the change, then sign up for one of our virtual events. And then that was pretty much the closing for it. Then this is where the magic happens. Okay, so that is step 1. Step 1 is just filling out your show details. And then step number 2, this is where we get into the Video Script Maker. Taka saying, get that VSM, people. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So here's what's so sick about this. Remember all the different things that we were talking about that Owen said that you should have: your hook, your bumper, your intro, your opening, your teaser, your audience. I even threw in like, what's your question of the day, your guest intro, your main question, your setup, your sponsor, your bullets, boom, boom, your tension, and then your segment, bullet number 3, which is like the climax, and then the conclusion, and then audience, comments, and questions. Okay. Those are the specific sections. But notice how there's this beautiful red check mark box here. And it says click the tick box randomly to generate a video script. Keep unticking and ticking for new scripts. So what that means is that every single time that I do this, I get a new hook. Every single time I get a new hook. For example, it's hard to do X as a team when you don't know who's working on what. So who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know who's on third. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, try another one. Give your X the A, B, and C treatment they deserve without juggling tons of D and email threads to get it done. So for example, give your team the love, respect, and kindness that they deserve without juggling tons of Tylenol. Just whatever, right? Just have fun with it. So here's what live streaming taught me about X, Y, and Z. What Doc Boyd taught me about Thunderbolts and USB-Cs. Or what I learned from failing on my first live stream. That could be your hook. Notice that every single time that I'm ticking this off, it's going to be a different hook. So let's be honest, these days you can hardly keep up with what day of the week it is, let alone when Apple rolls out a new Mac Mini. That's why you're gonna love how easy it is to set up your new live streaming setup with Sean Doc Boyd. Boom. That's a hot one right there. So when you like something, you would just copy it, and then over on the right hand side where it says draft, you're just gonna copy Command-Shift-M and drop it off over here. For those of you who don't have like the keyboard shortcuts, it's basically paste special values only. So every time I do that, every time I'm unchecking this, I'm getting a new hook that I could use. So ever felt stuck or clueless while doing X, irritated, frustrated, and wish there was somebody to help you out? Well, I heard you loud and clear. This is a good one, especially like for Ecamm Live. Ever felt stuck or clueless while setting up your live stream? Maybe you've been irritated. Maybe you've been frustrated and wish that there was somebody to help. That's why we have the Ecamm Live community. Boom. I'm telling you, this is gold. I've probably watched like so many live streaming videos from like the greats, right? Luria Petrucci's, the Sean Cannells, Roberto Blake's, like the whole entire crew, Owen Video, Molly Mahoney. And I was like, you know what? I like that. And so I dropped it into the video script maker so that anytime you needed something new, boom, 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 it all works out. Then you're gonna go into your bumper, which is gonna be your intro video. And then notice over here, it says intro. Remember on step number 1 where it had the show details? It's pulling in all of those details in there. And so it's saying, welcome back to Lights Camera Live, shine a spotlight on the best and brightest marketers. We're live on boom, 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 right? And so it's just gonna pull in all of this stuff over here. So if I say about your show, where we shine a spotlight, blah, 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 show frequency is the 1st and 3rd Thursdays, channels I broadcast to, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Guess what happens? It goes over here. Welcome back to Lights Camera Live, where it's the whole thing. And notice as well here is that if I have this little checkbox in step 1, if I have this checked off, then it gets added into the actual step number 2. Does that make sense to you guys? Like you're building this as you go along, which makes it super duper helpful. And then you're gonna have your opening. So today we're going to discuss X and how it plays a major role in Y. So today we're going to be talking about scenes and how it's going to play a major role in creating a seamless run of show, or why you wanna set up your stream deck a certain way, why you wanna leverage hotkeys, folders, whatever it is that you wanna do. Teasers, stay until the very end because we'll also reveal yada, yada, yada. Then you're going to give a shout out to your audience. Again, anytime you tick this off, it's going to be a different way that you're going to give a shout out or a different question of the day. Is there something you've always wished that you could learn about Stream Deck? And then give your audience that time to respond to it. Does that make sense? Is there something that you've always wished that you could learn about remote live video production? If so, tell me what it is in the comments. They're like conversation starters. I'm really big when it comes to like table topics. All right, so guest intro right now, it's completely blank because you don't need it right now. Well, I don't need it right now, but if you did, then it's already there. Then you could go into your main question. Again, you have different samples of main questions that you can have. One example is, why do you think that's happening? So for example, live streaming in 2019 increased by 20%. Why do you think that's happening? And then your audience will be like, oh, because pandemic, people are happening at home and whatever it is, right? Then you're gonna have the setup. If you're just tuning in, right? Oh my goodness, it's already 3:20. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about X and why it's important. All of that stuff is in here. Video Script Maker is going to auto-generate all these different prompts for you. Then what you do next is that you copy and paste Special Ed over into the draft, because then, yay, you'll have all of this stuff over here. And then what happens next is that step number 3 is going to be your run of show. Now, you could do a run of of show. In a Google Doc, you could do a run of show. In ShowFlow, I use ShowFlow when I'm doing big major events. I'm sure Kevin Lyons probably has like a really fancy setup. This run of show is great too, because you put in your start time, your duration. So if I wanted to make this into like 1 minute, then it's automatically going to change the time for the rest of the segments that are there. This is helpful for me, especially for those of you that have like a second monitor, because then at this point I could be like, oh yeah, what else do I need to mention? This is helpful for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, there's like so many things that I have to cover. How do I remember to mention them, right? So the video script maker takes you through steps 1, 2, and 3. The whole entire process. Step 1, fill in the show details. Step 2, auto-generate, copy-paste the prompts that you want to use. And then step number 3 is boom, that's your final run of show. What I love about this, right? What I love about this is that once you're on step 3, I mentioned this in the tutorial video, but when you're on step 3 and you want to share something with your client for them to look at, in Google Sheets, you could print it off as a web page or export it as like a PDF and then just be like, boom, here's the run of show. This is what we're going to work on. Seamless, super easy to use, inexpensive. Mike Alton is saying that the video script maker is a literal gold mine. It's helpful. Let me tell you, like I said, there are so many different prompts in there, because when you've been live streaming like me for 4 years, you can't always recycle like the same hook, teaser, and all that other stuff. And so I'm usually in here behind the scenes and I'll like, oh, I just heard like Luria dropped this good one, or on the stream show, they used this one and I really liked it. And I would just keep building it. And now it becomes like your own Google for copywriting ideas. You guys, it's already 3:23. We've covered so much ground today. I would love to know what you learned. So quick reminder is that, you know, we talked about the storyboard, why this is really like your first step when working with clients, giving them an idea of all the different things that you can do for their show or for their actual event. And if you haven't downloaded it already, I'm sure Caleb will have you covered, but this is where you could get the storyboard. Here's a picture. Wait, I should go this way. So grab your storyboard, get started with it. One of the tips that I had mentioned in the previous episode of Showrunner was that if you build this out in something like Easel or Photoshop, if you know your client's brand colors, flip it, change the colors so that way it's not about you, right? It's not about you and your brand colors, but it's about them, because now they're going to realize, oh, yeah, we could add this element in there. Do a little bit of research, you know, take a look at their videos, their YouTube channel, what they're posting on social media, how their website looks like, and work that in there. Yeah, get your hands on the video script maker. And honestly, if any of you have any questions, drop them in the Ecamm Live community group or just shoot me an email. It is created in a Google Sheet. I've made it pretty seamless for you. Just watch the video. I already showed it to you today as well. Fill in what you need to fill in and then just tick that box, copy paste special values. Boom, you have your run of show on step number 3 and you're amazing. Steve is saying run of show is a game changer and I'm going to use it for my podcast. Yes, that's actually a really it's something really important to mention. Thank you so much for calling that out. You could use this pretty much for anything. You could use this for your run a show for events for clients. You could use it for a podcast. I've also used this in my digital keynotes, right? Whatever it is to keep the audience engaged at the very end, that's going to be super duper exciting. Debbie Mason, yes. I need a sound effect for that. Yes, that's going to be amazing. This is what I have. Here are a couple of other things that I want to let you know, because Ecamm Live is actually, like, the company name is Ecamm Network. And that's because we have a network, a community of amazing, brilliant content creators that I want you to get to know. Because honestly, if you love today's episode, you're gonna love planning and production. I'm telling you, I find it to be so much fun to just share all of this knowledge with you and geek out with you. Joel Fulner says, is there a calendar for all the Ecamm live shows in one place by chance? Yes, there is. It's actually in the support forum. So Caleb or Doc, if you could drop that link in there, that's going to be absolutely amazing. So quick reminder for you, the next time you and I will meet again is going to be March 24th, planning and production. We've covered everything so far. 4, evolution of live streaming, the rise of the live video producer, client onboarding. Man, if you missed that one, you need to go back and watch that one because there are a ton of ideas there. Today, structure and storyboards, and then planning and production is really making sure that your client has everything that they need in order to have a successful broadcast, because you can have the best, internet connection, you have the best graphics and all that other stuff, but if your client is on dial-up, you really can't save that. So we're going to talk about the importance of tech rehearsal, things that you can do to enhance the experience through and through. For Joel, who was just asking about where to find all of the shows, there it is. And then mark this down in your calendar if you haven't already, which you should, right? You absolutely should. And so on April 7th, we're going to be talking about seal the deal, pricing your services. That's where you're going to bring in your questions. Caleb, again, you're going to have to remind me, we have to put out like the calculator. How are we putting all of this stuff together? Because there are some people, I feel like if you are with the client, helping them from beginning to end, in my mind, I think of you as a remote live video producer. You are producing this event. There are some people where they're like, hey, I'm just going to show up and help switch the scenes, right? They're not going to help you with the run of show or any of that. I'm like, you're okay, you're a scene switcher, right? We'll talk about the difference and what to do if you need a team to help build around it. Like I'm telling you, when we launched Showrunner Secrets from the Set, Katie, Caleb, and I were like, we need someone to do graphics. Bradley, Alicio, come through. It's one of those things where when you're active in the Ecamm live community, there are different people that you could reach out to and get advice. That's what's so beautiful about it. Yes, Bradley, another awesome show. Thank you so much. Yes. And P.S. by the way, we will have all of these episodes transcribed and put together in an epic blog post. I'm telling you, Ecamm Live is going like all the way this year as far as repurposing their content. And so having said that, we're going to end the show on time. What? That's amazing. That's amazing. This is unheard of. So having said that, let me go ahead and roll this clip real quick.